Revealed today when 3 years of Donald Trump's taxes were finally released into the public is that he had some bank accounts not located inside of the United States. So for instance, between 2015 and 2020, he had a bank account in, that was in the UK. Along the way, there was Ireland, I believe. Specifically for our talk though, between 2015 and 2017, he had bank accounts listed that were in China. And interestingly enough, that also came up in a debate in the last presidential election. Take a look at this.
You've now divested from your business. You've personally promoted your properties abroad. A report this week, which was referenced, does indicate that your company has a bank account in China. So how can voters know that you don't have any foreign conflicts of interest?
The bank account you're referring to, which is everybody knows about it, it's listed. The bank account was in 2013. That's what it was. It was open to do. It was closed in 2015, I believe. And then I decided, because I was thinking about doing a deal in China like millions of other people. I was thinking about it and I decided I'm not going to do it. Didn't like it. I decided not to do it. Had an account open and I closed it.
So according to him, in the time that he is talking about, it had already been closed for a year and a half. That wasn't true. It lasted into the first year of his presidency. Now, did that affect anything? Did it influence the way that he dealt with China? I don't know. I don't have any specific evidence to that effect. But he was either completely mistaken about a foreign bank account in his name, or he's openly lying about it. And it would be one thing if it was just an oversight or something like that. But bear in mind, the topic of China was pretty important for Donald Trump at that point when they were doing that debate, because they were smearing Biden at that point as a puppet of China. Like specifically saying you couldn't trust Joe Biden because of his business connections with China. That was a big talking point on the right. Biden's income tax returns and financial disclosures, which did not require 3 years of conflict to get, he just put them out, show no business dealings or income from China. So this feels less like an oversight and more like just projection. He is putting onto Joe Biden the things that he knows he was trying to cover up.
Yes. So he apparently had about $55 million in gross income for more than a dozen countries. But look, to be fair, would Donald Trump really take his own personal financial interest and put it above others? Of course he would. God, aren't right wingers unbelievable? If Bernie Sanders did all this stuff, where he's like, well, I got to favor this country and that country, and I'm never going to pay any goddamn taxes, and lie after lie after lie, he wouldn't still be considered the leader of the progressives. Not within a country mile. No way, right? But the right wing, every time they see another outrageous lie, by the way, lies where he rips them off, because we're all paying taxes, including the MAGA chudheads. They're sitting there paying taxes and taxes and taxes. And then Trump goes, and he said it again today, Jordan. I mean, in the release today, he's like, this shows how good a businessman I am, that I make no money at all, and that I pay no taxes, even though I'm worth $4 billion. No, that doesn't show that you're a good businessman. That shows one of two things, and maybe both. One, you're an awful businessman. You never, ever make money. All you have is literally decades of losses. And by the way, there's some truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that. Remember, his dad gave him $413 million and he lost all of it. So when he's deducting the taxes for losses, that part is the only part that's actually true, because he sucks at business. He never makes any goddamn money. Only two things he's ever made money from: his dad. That's why he's Donny Boy. It's whenever he went bankrupt, he go crying to daddy, oh, daddy, I lost the money again, right? And then the other thing was the $400 million he made from NBC because of The Apprentice. So, and was that really his doing? No, he was a sad little puppet. The producers put up there, they're like, he's famous, he's a well-known clown. Okay, idiot, this is the line you say, you're fired. Okay, they fed him all of his lines. He could have been anybody. They could have put in anybody there. He's so useless. And so, but he got an unbelievable amount of money from that. And what did he do with the $400 million? He lost it. He lost it. He's such an idiot. And this is who the right wing looks up to. And then, so either he's a terrible businessman or he's a giant tax cheat. And while you pay your taxes, he doesn't, and he rubs it in your face. Either way, you gotta be a chudhead to root for this guy. You really, I mean, why don't you just tell him, punch me in the face while you're at it? He would gladly do it, and MAGA guys would probably love it.
Yeah, I think you touched on it, Cenk. I think what we're really seeing in these tax returns is how he exploits the deduction system. And when you do it to that great of an extent where you're paying nothing or $700 on millions of income, he's not a billionaire, but he's still bringing in millions every single year. It just shows how easy it is for the wealthy to exploit that system. And from the looks of it, they just bury, his accountants bury the IRS in paperwork. I mean, his return each year is several hundred pages long. And with an understaffed IRS and tons of political implications if they do audit him, that could look bad for them. But he just makes it extremely difficult to verify all of these write-offs and deductions that he's claiming every year. So if we really want to create a level playing field, that's like a great place to start. And I agree with Cenk, he's probably not going to face any punishment for this. But if they do, it does seem like the greatest likelihood would be, how they got Al Capone. He's just tax fraud. He's claiming things on these deductions that don't really seem to add up. A $40,000 speech with $38,000 some in expenses, that doesn't seem realistic.
Yeah, and they reference.
Look, I got to add one thing to what Jordan's saying. Look, I don't want anybody to misinterpret me. If you actually cared about justice, would you prosecute this guy? Of course. Would you have ample evidence from these tax returns? Absolutely. Look, he has pages and pages of deductions that he calls other business expenses. That's not a thing, okay? So if you did that, would you be prosecuted? Hell yes, you would. You would definitely be prosecuted. Okay, but here's a hilarious example. He has DJT Aerospace LLC. Aerospace, I didn't know he built rockets too. So you go into space? No, it's for a stupid helicopter. And he rents out the helicopter and he actually makes money from it. In fact, in 2017, he made $42,965. Now, do you want to know what he said his expenses were for the helicopter? $42,965. That's not a thing. Your expenses don't magically equal to the dollar your revenue from something. So if you see that as an IRS agent, that's not like a little red flag. That's like a giant red flag. Like, I am cheating. I am a liar. You should definitely put me in jail, right? And and of course, since he's relatively rich until he burns through the next set of money that he has, and he's of course very, very powerful. So I mean, the IRS agents probably had spent a new deduction themselves for a round of depends for everyone. They're supposed to audit the president, no matter who the president is, every single year, except they were cowards. They've been cowards for over a decade. Are you ever gonna audit the guy and publish it and hold him to account, or are you all unbelievable cowards at the IRS? And the answer is, of course, when it comes to the elite and the powerful, they'll stand down, they'll crush into oblivion.
Yeah. A couple really quick facts, and then I have a question for you. So one is when he references paying millions of dollars in income taxes during the period that Chris Wallace was talking about, that's an exaggeration no matter how you look at it. But there is one way in which it's almost kind of true. He did pay $1 million in 2017 in foreign taxes. He paid less than 1,000 to the US, more than $1 million internationally. And he didn't do it because he was feeling charitable, as we'll get to. He did it because the law demanded it. You can set up laws to require rich people to pay taxes. And in that case, even someone as paying averse as Donald Trump will actually do it. Our laws could look like that. He could have been paying these millions of dollars over the last 20 years, but we just choose not to. Okay, different choices between different countries. Also, by the way, they did get into his charitable giving. He constantly talked about how charitable he was. In 2019, he did actually give about $500,000. I mean, God only knows if that was actually cash or if he was what he was considering charity, but he did give some money then. None in 2020, but it was a pretty easy year. Everyone was doing good. They didn't need any help, I guess. By the way, he said that he donated his over $400,000 a year presidential salary every year of his presidency. What happened in 2020? Maybe he was worried about not being able to find another job after he lost re-election. I don't know. Also, I only mention this because it does contain at least an implicit threat, but he has responded to this being released. Are you interested in that?
Sure.
I mean, it could lead to an insurrection, so I suppose we should get to it. Here is what Donald Trump had.
I don't think it's going to, though.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I think in this particular case, I don't think his fans are going to be all that defensive towards him.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.